So why does it seem like a lot of artists aren't very happy? With their artwork or generally in life? And I think that one of the causes of this is that you are seeking the end goal, you're searching for the end result, and you're not happy with what you're doing in the moment because you're so focused on trying to have perfection, to have everything turn out just right. And when you try to do that with your artwork, when you try to make everything perfect and you put so much time into it because you have this huge goal that you want to work on, and then you start thinking to yourself, if I don't make it perfect, then what's the point of creating it? What's the point of doing it? And then that branches out and it goes into other parts of our life to where we think that we have to make everything else perfect. We think that we have to make every decision and every action we have to be a perfect decision for a big goal at the end. And I've dealt with this myself because I've been very critical of myself, not only with art, but in other areas of my life. If I'm doing something and the end result isn't as big or grand or as perfect as what I had in my mind or that I imagined, we get dissatisfied with it. So when we're pursuing something in art and we're drawing and we're trying to make everything perfect, we get caught up in the end goal and we spend no time thinking about what we're creating in the moment. And you need to start thinking about what you're doing in the moment to be happy. Because if you're only focused about the end goal, then what happens is that if you don't ever worry about or think about what you're doing in the moment and being happy with that, all you're going to think about is the end goal. And then when you get at the end goal and it might not turn out how you want, then you might get depressed or be dissatisfied with the end result. And I know it's good to be critical of what you create. It's good to be someone that wants to improve their artwork. You want to get better if it's something for a museum or if you're selling artwork to people, if you're having big paintings done in murals. It's something that I can understand if you want to get better, but try not to let that aspect of you as an artist branch out into other areas of your life, because it's just going to make you miserable. And a lot of the famous artists that we know of, they had a lot of psychological problems or they were dealing with something else. And I think the reason for that it isn't that artists are unhappy people or that unhappy people are artists. What it is that it's a way for people to deal with stress or to deal with things that are bothering them. And if they don't have someone to talk to about things, people that don't understand them, people that don't want to listen, and the only way they have to express their ideas, to express themselves, is to put all that emotion into the artwork, to put all of their anger and sadness and depression, everything, put that into some artwork, and to make something beautiful out of the internal destruction of being depressed and not having anyone that's there to really talk to you about anything. And so I think that when people see artists, they say that a lot of them, you have to be, well, how did they say? You have to be a crazy person to have the patience and the willpower to do a lot of it, because the amount of time and the effort involved in the reward that you get from it. But I think it's just that a lot of people, like I said, that have dealt with a lot of problems, they end up being artists or expressing themselves in creative ways because they don't really have anybody to talk to, and the people they do have to talk to probably don't want to listen to them, or they don't understand their point of view or what they're going through, and so they keep it to themselves and they express that through their art. And then when people see what they're creating or what they have to say, then they ask them, why didn't you ever say anything to me? I mean, I've had that happen myself. People will say, why didn't you ever just talk to me or say anything? And the whole time I was saying things, I was trying to get help with something, dealing with being depressed or angry or whatever it was, and they didn't want to listen. And then when you start creating artwork or doing something for everybody else to see, then they all of a sudden ask that question, and it goes to show that they didn't even understand what you were saying or your perspective of what you were dealing with until it was either too late or until it was many years later. And so my tip or advice would be to be happy with what you're working on in the moment and not only focus so much about the end goal, the end result of it, and to not try to make everything completely perfect, to just have fun creating, and but do be critical of yourself to improve, but not to the extent that you are depressed and unhappy with your life. Because if you're unhappy in all these other areas of your life, it's going to affect you creatively because you're not going to be as creative. So that would be some of my advice for dealing with that. And if you have any suggestions about anything that would help this, that would help people with dealing with being depressed or not being happy with themselves as a person or an artist, go ahead and let me know, and we can have a discussion about that. But until then, I'm going to go work on some things, work on some drawings, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day and keep on creating. See you later.